Good morning, good morning, good morning, muffin to say. Man, it's just another day, another Tuesday. Pretty excited about Tuesdays. Tuesdays are always fun. Not really. Tuesday's just another day. But I'm here to hopefully pick up your day. You just never know. Could be a great day. Weather's beautiful. It's a nice day to be sitting outside, that's for sure, if you're in the Northeast Corridor. It's a nice, sweet 70 degrees. Pretty beautiful stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. So hopefully you're having just as awesome a day as I am. I am a bit tired this morning. I was up very late last night, and the title of this video might kind of tell you what I was doing up pretty late last night. Maybe not. Who knows? But today I wanted to talk a little bit about the reasons why sports is the last bastion of actual good entertainment left on platforms that used to provide all kinds of entertainment to us in the form of drama and horror and all that sort of stuff. But boy, it's been a long time since those guys have provided us with the truly shared event that everybody could get behind and enjoy. A very, very long time. Sports is the only ones left. And, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. So, hopefully you guys, hopefully you came here to hang out, have some fun. I think you did. Let's see. I'm trying to see what the chat is and what all this stuff does. Finger heart. Rose. Tiny Diny. Don't know what any of that stuff is, but it's pretty cool. So, if you want to pop those in there, that's always fine as well. We are live on TikTok, YouTube, both in vertical and horizontal. Because we're glutton for punishment, and we enjoy seeing how far we can push the limits of what my computer is actually capable of doing. And so far, we've succeeded in pushing those limits. Nothing has broken just yet, but there's still time. There's still time. So if you are on TikTok and you want to say hi, you should definitely say hi. We actually busted out a couple of other, things here. We've got a little, a new scene, a new way to take a look at stuff. Of course, that's just all the chats conglomerated up there. And we got this one over here, too. It's all kinds of fun. We are in the process of, opening up the live stream to do some different fun things with that sort of stuff. So, that's the plan. So those cameras are going to be a thing that we can use eventually. But for now, we don't have anything set up to do on that today, so it's just me talking. And so you're going to have to enjoy the me talking part, because it is what it is. But I don't know how many of you guys stayed up late last night to watch the football game. Or both the football games. There were two last night. The first one was, in my opinion, a slightly better game than the second one. Actually, it was a lot better game than the second one. Provided the kind of drama and excitement that we like to have in our football games. Because, the thing is with football or baseball or any other sport, just like in the movies, the narrative depends on which team you're rooting for. And obviously in the movies they tell you what team you're supposed to be rooting for, but in baseball or football or basketball or anything like that, you have to decide which team you're rooting for. So I could totally understand why some people are just disinterested in sports because they don't have a team. However, you're really missing out on the only game in town as far as community entertainment is concerned, drama, storytelling, all of those things. You're better off, instead of Netflix and chill or anything like that, you're way better off going ahead and just picking a team and enjoying whatever game is on. Because you're going to get better storylines. You're going to get more excitement. You're going to get more drama. You're going to get better storytelling in sports than you're going to see on TV anywhere right now. And the most important part of the sporting event or the sporting experience is you're getting a shared event. Everyone is watching it at the same time, which means that when you chat with your buddy texting and they're watching it too, you can actually communicate back and forth about things that are physically happening or whatever. There are no shared events left in the Hollywood scene anymore. There used to be when they created great movies and everybody went to see that movie on Saturday when the theaters opened or whatever, and we all got to share those events and then come back and talk about it afterwards. But those don't exist anymore. There used to be shared events on television. The big shows when they had their season premiere, and we would get to watch them and enjoy whatever was going on in those big season premieres. We would get to watch them together, and then we'd get to converse about it and talk about it the next day. But Hollywood doesn't create that kind of interest or excitement anymore. Hollywood is more about greed. They don't even keep a movie in theaters long enough for people to care. Why bother spending that kind? I mean, Hollywood has literally destroyed the theater model. You can't, you can't go to the theater anymore and have a enjoyable time because, what's the point? You're going to pay lots of extra money because that's the only way the theaters can make any money is by upcharging tickets and selling stuff at crazy prices, because they don't even get the movies in there for long enough for it to make any difference. And then on top of that, the studios just pull these movies out of the theaters so they could put them on the streaming service to try to sell streaming whatever. So basically, Hollywood has totally destroyed the ability for us to have shared events that we all get to experience and talk about later because of greed. But sports hasn't done that quite yet. The NFL's working on it. They're working on it by trying to make sure it's too expensive to watch, a lot of the games. Especially if you're like me and you don't subscribe to any of the streaming services, because I don't need to pay 15 different locations to be entertained. One is fine. Cable worked for me. Spend the money to broadcast your best content on one place and make it worth my while, and I'll pay for it. I don't want to pay for 17 different locations where, most of the content is at best bad. Because modern storytellers, modern writers, they suck. They suck. They think I want to, they need to insert their life into their content instead of just following classic storytelling arcs that everyone can relate to. No, we got to self-insert, because whatever. I want that shared experience back. I want entertainment that I can watch, that I can share the experience with my friends around the water cooler the next day at work or something. That's the kind of entertainment that Hollywood has ripped away from us. And that's the kind of entertainment that you can only get in one place, and that one place is sports. It's the only one left. It's the last man standing. It's the only place with great storytelling. It's the only place with amazing drama, mega excitement, super lows. All you have to do is pick a team. That's all you have to do, and the storytelling goes on. And you get to enjoy or discover the tragic defeat or whatever. But the point is that it's the only game in town. And the only reason why Hollywood and the TV networks haven't managed to screw that up is because it's live. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't control it. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. And, that's the bottom line. It's the bottom line. It's the last shared experience in town with great storytelling and great drama and great personalities. And that's it. That's my opinion. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to let me know about it. I'm all about to let me know about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're here. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk and discuss and have a good time. Have a good time. We're having a shared experience right here. And you know what? The folks on TikTok, you're welcome to stop scrolling. Just hang out. Have fun. Have a positive experience. That's what we do here. That's what we do here. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Are you guys big fans of live sports or any other sort of thing? Do you think that blockbuster movies even live up to the hype anymore? I personally don't. And they don't keep them in theaters long enough to matter anyways. So why bother going to the theater to have a shared experience with your friends for some blockbuster movie when you're going to be able to see it on streaming service next week for nothing? It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Hollywood has managed to take away all of the shared experiences that used to be so powerful when we had, when we had big movies. The original Star Wars came out way before you had the ability to watch any movies or anything. I mean, TVs were square. Movie theaters were widescreen. What would be even the point of watching something like that on TV? Nobody really ever even thought about it. And of course, eventually later they did letterbox stuff where they just black out pieces of the screen. But that came a lot of time later. We went to see Star Wars in the theater a million times because we knew we weren't going to be able to see it again for months and months and months. And it wasn't just months, it was years. We saw Star Wars A New Hope in the theater so many times because, we waited years to be able to see it again. Years. Until VHS was invented, essentially. And then we finally, eventually, got to see it again. And so now, if you go, there's no scarcity. There's no scarcity at all. And there's so much content out there that most of it's bad. I'm sure that there is a subset of amazing writers still left in Hollywood that care about telling compelling stories and making you entertained. I'm sure that there is a small subset of those writers in Hollywood. But there's a million different platforms and a million different thises and that's. And, how would you ever find them? How would you ever find them since nobody gets to have the shared experience anymore? Everybody doesn't have every platform. When you had cable or you had TV, everybody had it. Everybody. If you had the little box in your living room, everybody had it. And so if something amazing happened on TV on Wednesday night, everybody watched it. Because if you didn't watch it, there was no way to see it again. You couldn't record it. So they've ruined all of those moments that you could hang on to, that you could converse about with your friends and your family around a water cooler. They've ruined that and taken it away because of greed. And now there's no place to have shared experiences with your friends or your family or anybody else except for sports. And the only reason why that is because they can't ruin it. It's live. There's nothing they can do. They can't change the story. They can't mess up the storytelling. They can't ruin it. And that's the bottom line. That's why it's the only game left. It's the only game left for two honest reasons. One, shared experience. It's the only form of entertainment left where you can literally have a shared experience. If you want to see the game is on at 8 o'clock on Thursday night, period. That's when you watch it. Everybody watches it. Same game, same platform, everyone's there. Shared experience. There's no way that Hollywood can ruin that. There's no way the networks can ruin that. They can't schedule it at different times. They can't do anything. If you want to see the game, you have to watch the exact same platform as everybody else at the exact same time. So we all get to share in the experience at the exact same time. The second, they can't screw up the stories. They can't do self-insertions. Crappy writers don't matter when sports are involved because it's live. And whatever happens is going to happen, no matter what. They can't control the story. They can't control the drama. They can't control the characters. And they can't self-insert their own stupid politics or whatever else there is into your stories. Sports is real. It's raw. It's whatever happens. It's whatever happens. And I love it because it's the only form of entertainment that's left worth watching. And those are the two reasons why. Because of the storytelling that Hollywood can't break and the shared experience where it's the only game in town. It's the only shared experience that's truly left in entertainment. Sadly. How do we fix it? Well, we've got to have a whole heck of a lot of broadcast TV or broadcast networks, streaming services. We got to have them fail. We got to have them go under. Or we got to have them all sucked into one thing. And then those entities have to decide that theater matters again. And to commit to putting movies in theaters and not showing them on streaming services for a decent period of time. A year. If the movie comes out in theaters, it's going to have its run and it doesn't appear on streaming services for a year. That's fine. I can live with that. Give these theaters a chance to actually survive. Give us back our shared experiences. Stop worrying about the greed. You'll make more money. You'll make more money if you give us back shared experiences and special experiences. And actual good storytelling, which that might be a bridge too far at this point. Storytelling is so ridiculously bad. But Hollywood will make more money by giving us back the shared experience, by creating the actual scarcity. And I know that people will say, well, that's not what we want, and blah, blah, blah. Well, sometimes what we think we want and what we actually want are two totally different things. So everybody will say, well, streaming services are just serving the consumer. Because the consumer wants to have everything right now and blah. That's just a lie. That's just a lie that they're going to tell you so that they can continue to have their own streaming service and try to make that money because it's all about the bottom line. But they're robbing us, the viewers, of those special shared experiences. So when you add that on top of crappy storytelling and the fact that basically we're just in reboot hell where they're just rehashing all the same old crappy ass movies anyways that we've been getting forever. They've taken away everything that was special about the Hollywood blockbuster or movie experience. They just removed it. And you know what? If those things didn't hit streaming services for a year, it would be better. It would be better. We'd have to go to the movies and have a shared experience. We would know that we weren't getting to see that again for a year until it showed up on streaming services. That kind of stuff creates excitement. It creates anticipation. It creates money-making opportunities that the modern theater system where we're just going to throw it in the theater for 3 weeks and then it's going to show up on a streaming service. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. You're just Throwing money down the drain. For what? So your streaming service can make a little money. Well, your streaming service can make a little money a year from now when the movie finally hits theaters. It's possible to do that. You know? You don't have to be so goddamn greedy now. You can give us back our shared experiences. But, you know, I mean, honestly, I still think that's a bridge too far. First of all, they're too greedy to do it. And second of all, it doesn't matter because they can't tell a story anymore. They can't. Hollywood doesn't know how to tell a story anymore. You don't need all these big special effects blockbusters, this and that, to tell a story. You don't need any of that. You could still tell a story with your iPhone and some good actors and, you know, a couple of set pieces. You could still tell a good story, but they don't understand that. They don't know how to tell a good story. It's mostly about just creating a narrative to try to make you think a certain way at this point in Hollywood. And as we've seen recently, it's not going over super well, to be honest. Not for those people, anyway. Oh, well. Anyway, that's my opinion. I got lots of folks popping in and out on TikTok. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know what you think. Am I totally wrong? Do you miss the shared experience of going to the theater and enjoying a movie that you knew you weren't going to be able to see for years later? Let me know. Come on now. Everybody's popping in and out, but your clicky clackies work. Tell me what you think. Am I totally wrong? Is sports the last bastion of shared entertainment that's actually good? Let me know. I want to know. I could be wrong. I don't think so in this case. I miss the shared event. The shared, you know, it's been a pretty long time, to be honest. It's been a pretty long time since we've had the shared event. And most of the shared events were news events that weren't good for anybody. But, you know, maybe Lost, when that came on TV. Maybe that was one of the last shared events. Actually, Game of Thrones, even though it was on a streaming service, it was hard to find people who didn't watch Game of Thrones, you know? So we got together and we all talked about Game of Thrones on Monday morning. But Hollywood doesn't make compelling enough entertainment for everybody to watch at the same time, on the same day anymore. And even if they did, you know, people just have their own schedules now. So it destroys that shared event. It destroyed that shared experience. I mean, heck, if you really wonder why people can't communicate with each other anymore, that has a lot to do with it. That has a lot to do with it. In order for people to come together, especially people with different viewpoints and different thoughts and different ideas, you got to give us shared events. You got to give us something that, you know, we can all enjoy together. And then that can branch off to bridge the gap in the way we think or in conversations, or at least bring understanding. But Hollywood ruined that. Hollywood would rather divide people than put them together. And that's where sports changes everything too. Now, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate everything about the Dallas Cowboys. I hate the Dallas Cowboys fans. But I can tell you right now, if we got together at a bar and we were watching the game, it was the Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys, and we were both cheering on each other's team, or we were both cheering for our team and all that stuff, we'd have a lot of fun ribbing each other. We'd have a lot of fun poking fun and laughing and cheering and whatever. We'd have the highs and the lows and the whole 9 yards. By the time we walked out of there, we probably still wouldn't like each other. But, you know, you would have had a good time. You might fist bump for crazy plays or whatever. Because that's what real people do who have shared experiences. We have two different ideas and thoughts on what we think is good actual football or whatever, and we enjoy it together, and that's what it is. Let's see. Milo will bridge the gap. He'll put the final nail in the... Okay, this is not a political thing, my friends. I can appreciate that you made the comment. That was very nice. But, yeah, I don't really want to get too much into the politics thing because, honestly, Hollywood is already too deep in that, and that's the kind of stuff that divides the country. It's another reason why we can't have a shared experience. because they've got to do self-inserts in there instead of just giving us great stories with great storytelling and great acting and great scripting. But no, we got to insert every hot button issue into TV and make it so that people are uncomfortable. And that sucks. That sucks. That's another thing that's great about sports. It's almost never controversial. It's just there. You get to just enjoy it. You get to just turn your brain off and be entertained. And I love that. I absolutely love that. That's why it's the last best option for a viewing of any sort. But thank you so much for the comment. I really do appreciate it. You are my first ever commenter on TikTok. And that means a lot. So thank you. Oh. Well, I've said what I've said. And I've really had a lot of fun with this conversation. I think this is a good one. I would really love for everybody to chime in. Tell me what you think. But people aren't very chatty today. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this down. That's right. We're going to end a little bit early because, I got stuff to do too. So, it is what it is. I've had a blast. This is one of my favorite subjects, and this is probably going to make for some really cool videos that are going to come out later because I'm going to be able to piece some of this together. All of you amazing TikTok folks popping in and out, thank you so much. All of my amazing viewers on YouTube, vertical and horizontal. We absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. It means a busload. And this thing's only going to grow because we're going to have fun. We're going to add a lot of stuff. Eventually, you're going to be able to donate to these streams, change my voice, change my face. We're going to have fun. We're probably going to take on all kinds of different stories, issues, whatever. We're here to talk about whatever gets you going in the morning. It's like your little muffin and coffee. That's what we're going to do here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll even put together a dad joke or two because, I think they're punny. So everybody's welcome. We're going to be here at 10 o'clock every single day. At least that's the plan. It'll be around 10 o'clock. Okay, all right. Just going to tell you, not a freaking morning person. Sometimes I sleep in. And getting this ball rolling here, getting this ball rolling takes a little bit of time, work, and effort. So occasionally, it might slip to 10:15 or 10:30 or 11 o'clock. You never know. But it should be around 10 o'clock every weekday. And when I say 10 o'clock, I mean Eastern Standard Time. I apologize to all those folks that are in illegitimate time zones. But Eastern Standard Time is the only truly legitimate time zone. So that's the one that I'm speaking of when I say 10 a.m. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care. And I'll see you with another topic tomorrow. And I hope you guys all pop by and we can have lots and lots of conversation. Thank you.